Hi everyone, this is the Thursday 29th of May 2025 Rubber Duck attempt 2. The first one, the audio didn't record, so let's kick off first with some information. It's a bit later than it could have been, but we'll go for it. ETF inflows continued into the previous day. Quite a lot, 400 million into Bitcoin, but ETH I think is more interesting given the market cap is about 1/8 of Bitcoins. 90 million daily inflow is quite a lot, so it's starting to show some TradeFi interest that it hasn't for a very, very long time. Separately, we've got some other news like Pakistan pours. They are launching a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Don't know what that's going to look like. Frankly, I don't think they know what it looks like just yet. This has changed, but there was news that Trump is no longer allowed to do tariffs in the way he's doing it from the court. So they're going to have to work around that for a little bit. The market's pumped a little bit. I'll show that in a second on that news, but not very much. Let's go into this, which I think was interesting earlier. We'll see how it's played out. So BTC open interest, not really that high. Historically high, but no higher than it has been for a long time. Let's just up. Tell a lie. No higher than it has been since the last pump, up to 112. But it has grown 20k from 105 to 107 now. So there's probably a little bit of scope here. That to that, not looking that great. Down here when it was pumping while this is all decreasing, a lot of scope. ETH is more interesting in my view. Look, you can see this rapid increase in open interest. Unprecedented, even though funding is staying relatively balanced. And some of it's starting to bleed away already. It looks like just a liquidity take, so I still think up from that point of view, kind of our takeaways is ETH open interest is high. BTC open interest is high, worth a watch. But this is, TradeFi are going to define a lot of these things. I still think you've got a lot of interest going on. All right, let's move to the charts. Cool. All right, some of this is now played out, but it doesn't matter too much. So we've had a front run, in my view, of the range flip at 106,300. I think that's the daily flip, the 3-day flip, and the weekly flip was a bit lower unless you take these wicks in, but there's some interest at 106,300 and the next level 104,454. So we've seen that front run a little bit, which sometimes you'll see on range flips where they don't want to give people easy entries, and it goes a bit higher, but 1, 2, 3, 4 touches now. Look, there's an argument for taking it on this third touch if you really, really want to. But not so interested here. I think the two trades you really want are layered at 106,200-ish. Go for the full thing at this point. And then the real range flip on the weekly, given, where we're on the month, 29th, couple more days, at 104,900. ETH, I think you've got a lot of issues going on here. On a weekly time frame, you can see how this area has been so key. It's been a bit rough, but so key for rejections and flips. Although ETH is such a wiki thing that you should really be layering a lot lower just to catch the wicks, because otherwise you're just going to get stuffed some points. On the daily, it's trapped below this kind of consolidation before the breakdown back in March. And look, it's run a long way. That's like 100%. So it's got some room. Look, they just took liquidity and now it's died, looking really rough. Previously when I tried this video, it was up here. I'm saying, look, this is a potential short, but I don't really short bull market, so I wouldn't have taken it. But I'm definitely longing. I think the long is still down here if you want it aggressively, which I'm not such a big fan of. I think what you really want is, let's have a look at this a bit. Yeah, I think what you really want is these two. 2241 and 2100. Basically, like 2000 to 2200. If it doesn't get there, it doesn't get there, but F is just so prone to damage, you just don't know. SPX is, look, SPX ran this entire way on the on the view that tariffs are done. And then you have the court come out and say there's no tariffs, and it did 1%, and then immediately puked it. I think fully bought in tariff news is gone. That narrative is dead. Good news isn't pumping, bad news, more downside potential, if anything. So at best neutral to downside. So yeah, I think that's where I'll leave it today. Ta-ra.